And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday. It's May 18th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome on a Tuesday. We're glad to have you with us. And of course, glad to be on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope is here. And Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And how are you doing?
Great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. They're saying that they may have a little rain today, just a little, I think, and then it's going to be sunshine. It's going to get hot. It's going to be like summertime.
Yes, we had a wonderful weekend compared to last week when it was cold. You felt like you're back in March, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, you have a couple of people here today, which you can introduce. Of course, I should introduce you as the Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and I do that every Tuesday when you're here, and I don't want to miss out today.
Yeah, well, before we get started, I wanted to update you that as of Friday, the hospital is now vaccinating children ages 12 to 16. We do have the Pfizer vaccine at the hospital. And, once again, we are acting as an extension of the Wilson County Health Department. So we are vaccinating all adults and now children ages 12 to 16 with the Pfizer vaccine. So that is on a first-come, first-served basis, and all are welcome. So we just want everybody to know about the opportunity to get your COVID vaccine if you're interested.
Any particular hours we need to mention? Or?
Yeah, so we are open 8 to 11:30, and then we break for lunch and start back around 1, and we go till about 4:30. So okay. We have had lower volume, so sometimes you do have to wait a little bit to just get enough people to open a vial. We don't want to waste any vaccine, but it is available, and we're ready to vaccinate anybody that's willing.
All right. Well, that is good to get out to all the people here.
Absolutely.
And as far as who you brought with you today?
Yeah, so I know we've said this before, but about almost 2 years ago now, the hospital became part of the Vanderbilt health system, and we have started many services, but one service that was already in Wilson County before we became Vanderbilt is the Vanderbilt Bill Wilkerson Center in Lebanon. So we have 2 audiologists here with us this morning to talk about the Bill Wilkerson Hearing Center and the services that they offer and what we have here in Wilson County.
Okay, we have Dr. Sarah Unrein.
Hello.
Right. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And we have Dr. Catherine Williams.
Good morning.
And we say good morning to both of you. So, Dr. Sarah, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm originally from Nebraska, and I first came to Nashville to actually go to Vanderbilt to get my doctorate of audiology. Left for a little bit and then came back because it has one of the best cochlear implant teams in the nation.
Why did you want to do that?
Cochlear implants are a very interesting area of audiology. It's kind of, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, for those who can't be helped by hearing aids. And so it's just one of those interesting areas that I really thought I could help in.
Okay. All right. Okay, Dr. Catherine Williams.
Yes.
What about you?
Let's see. I am originally from Shelbyville. Everybody should know a little bit about where that is.
Bedford County.
Bedford County, yes. Home of the International Walking Horse Championships. Went to the University of Tennessee for undergrad, Indiana University for grad school. Made it all the way to New Orleans to start my first job. Spent 8 years there and then came back up here to be closer to family and also work at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has the #1 audiology program in the country for graduate schools, and I wanted to be the best, so I had to work at the best place possible.
Well, now, the two of you do different things, really?
Correct. So I work with adult amplification. So if you think you have a hearing loss, you come to me first, where I do the hearing evaluation. I talk to you about your options in terms of possibly hearing aids. I also do something called a bone-anchored implant. And then if I can't help you, if there's something that's not quite just hearing loss alone, then we talk about possibly sending you to the ear, nose, and throat physician downtown, or we talk about seeing Sarah.
Mm-hmm. And why did you choose this?
It's a very long story. I'll try to keep it short. My final, I studied a bunch of different healthcare rehabilitation professions. saw a speech pathologist who was doing amazing things, started my 4th major in undergrad as speech pathologist. And speech pathology and audiology are the same thing. Audiology, you just immediately had this gratification of helping somebody by putting hearing aids on, helping them hear. You got this, wow, I'm really doing something for someone immediately feeling. And I live for making others happy, so I made it a profession.
How did you get to Lebanon?
So I started at Vanderbilt 3 years ago, almost to the day, and Sarah actually was out here first, but they needed an audiologist that could do what I do. I live in East Nashville, so it's a hop and a jump over here. Mm-hmm. I know how to open a practice, having done it in New Orleans, so it was a little bit easier transition. We started out at 1 day a week, and we're up to 2 days a week now for people coming and seeing me, and hope to move up to 3 days a week.
And as far as you getting to Lebanon, Dr. Sarah?
Mm-hmm. So we were running out of space downtown, and they're like, oh, there's a booth in Lebanon in the Bill Wilkerson Center that nobody's using, but nobody wants to go out there. And I said, no, I'm more than willing. I had just started a few months before this conversation. And I'm like, I live in Old Hickory. I live out that direction. And they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yes, I'm happy to work out there.
So East Nashville and Old Hickory. Mm-hmm. And you commute to Lebanon when you come here, but it's not that far.
It's very nice.
Well, actually, you're coming this way, and most of the traffic's going the other way.
Yep.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, as we talked some about the services that you provide, but have we covered them all? What all Bill Wilkerson Center actually provide?
Lebanon location also has pediatric speech pathology and pediatric occupational therapy as well.
Now, are there other locations? I mean...
Yes, there's lots of different locations, depending on if you're looking for adults or pediatrics. Adult-wise, for my services, we are downtown at Medical Center East. We're in Green Hills. We're in Franklin. The Franklin office also offers balance testing, so if you're feeling kind of any dizziness, they also have general ENT in Franklin as well. Pediatrics.
There's both Spring Hill and Murfreesboro, as well as downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of all over Middle Tennessee, not exactly, but hub of Nashville anyway. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about hearing loss. Is it just an age thing?
No, hearing loss happens at birth. You can have it when you're in your 20s. It's an all-age type of thing. Actually, more people that are below 60 have hearing loss than people that are above 60.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So it's something that people learn to compensate for if they're young enough. But it is something that if you feel like you have a hearing loss, you really should get it checked out so that we have a good baseline to know where things are going and check it every year to see if anything's changed.
All right, this younger people or even middle-aged people that have hearing loss, then it's not an age thing with them. What is it? I'm sure it's different things, but what could be some of the causes?
So one possible cause is just genetics, that their family is predispositioned to possibly have hearing loss. There's also noise-induced hearing loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that a lot around here with all of the people working with farm equipment, hunting, motorcycles. A lot of the musicians have the noise-induced hearing loss.
I can understand why musicians would have hearing loss. There's sometimes they're so loud I can't stay in the room with them. But when should somebody come and see you about this? When is the problem big enough that they need to come and get your attention?
Anytime that you're turning up the television and somebody's complaining that the television is too loud, anytime you think that you're hearing somebody but you're not understanding them, anytime that you're socially isolating yourself and not going to that restaurant because you can't hear the people around you, that's really when we want you to come in and see us so that we can see if there's something going on.
But these things, these three in particular that you just mentioned there, that could be somebody that's 25, 35 or 40, it doesn't have to be 75 or 80.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Well, is it a different cause usually, or?
There is an age component. As we get older, things just start to break down. But it's the same thing. Typically, if it's age and genetics, you see a worse hearing loss as you're older. But it's really kind of environmental. There's a health component to it as well.
Yeah. Well, can you, just a general question, can you help most people that have a problem?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, most people can be helped. And maybe we should mention where you're located again. You're at 1670 West Main? Mm-hmm. All right.
Yep.
Next to the Eye Center.
All right. Vanderbilt Bill Wilkerson Center here in Lebanon, 1670 West Main Street, Suite 130. Mm-hmm. All right. We've got Dr. Sarah Unrein. We've got Dr. Catherine Williams today from the Bill Wilkerson Center in Lebanon, and Tracy Pope, of course, with Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We'll take a break here. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and that regular oil change. It's only $24.95, up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. They just finished this crash that happened out here earlier on 65 southbound, just before you get to Trinity Lane. That'll help just a little bit with the traffic flow here because people were slowing down to stare at it. Now it's gone, but now the traffic is still heavy trying to get through here on 65 southbound again at Trinity Lane. Traffic's picked up even more with that traffic volume coming through Kingston Springs on I-40 eastbound, all that traffic coming in from Dixon County. True Friends Movie Company is hiring. Call them today at 240-2811, online at truefriendsmoviecompany.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Twice a month, Tracy Pope comes and brings a medical professional or two with her. Tracy, you might mention the vaccination thing again if you want to.
Yeah, I was just updating you earlier that as of Friday at the hospital, we are vaccinating children ages 12 to 16 with the Pfizer vaccine that has been approved. So we have that at the hospital. We're acting as an extension of the Wilson County Health Department, and we are vaccinating eligible individuals on a first-come, first-served basis. That's Monday through Friday, 8 to 11:30, and then 1 to 4:30 as they're available. So we have plenty of supply, and anyone that is interested is able to come to the hospital to get their vaccine. You can also go on the health department's website and make appointments if you would rather do that, but you can come to the hospital on a first-come, first-served basis.
Okay, again, we're talking about the Bill Wilkerson Center that's here in Lebanon, Vanderbilt Bill Wilkerson Center. It has to do with your hearing, and Dr. Sarah Unrein and Dr. Catherine Williams are our guests here this morning. Now, let's talk about hearing aids. So we hear a lot about hearing aids, and I think they are a lot more accomplished, if that's the right word to use. There's been a lot of technology and all has gone into what we have today compared to maybe even 10, 20 years ago. So,
I'll take this one since it's hearing
Dr.
aid
Catherine
related. So even since I started grad school, they have made leaps and bounds in technology. but they're rechargeable now. They sit up behind the bigger, fleshier part of your ear. So unless you're just an ear person and you look at them all the time, which I do because that's my job, but nobody else does in the human population, you're not going to see them at all. They are, a lot of them are hands-free Bluetooth, so you can listen to any audio from your phone, podcasts, music, phone calls, videos directly through the hearing aids. They can actually pick up your voice, send it back to the phone, so you can be Bluetooth radius about 30 feet away from the phone and still have a normal conversation. Have a lot of patients that are mechanics that hang out under the car, answer the phone on their ear, and have a conversation while they're under the hood of a car with their phone not even in the same room as them now.
Yeah.
So they are little tiny computers that are great at doing what they need to do. One of the things that makes it better when you come here to Vanderbilt for your hearing needs is that we program your hearing aids based off a prescription for your hearing loss. We use real ear measurements. So we're sticking a little microphone down inside your ear and measuring the output of the hearing aid. It's the gold standard of care. So we're really giving you everything we possibly can in terms of your hearing aids and your hearing health.
Now, is this what you do, that mainly every day is what you're just talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get all kinds of situations, I guess, where the hearing loss, some people with the higher tone, some with the lower, I guess, and you have equipment that diagnoses all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we do the hearing evaluation, and then with the hearing aids, we put all your hearing loss into a computer, and it has different prescriptions depending on your lifestyle, depending on what your past has been with hearing, and we make sure that the hearing aid is doing exactly what it's supposed to do based off of that prescription for your hearing loss.
How long does it take to determine one's needs, and if even they need that, if it can be helped? Can you do that fairly quickly?
Yeah, so we schedule, it is for a hearing evaluation and to discuss your options for your hearing loss. We schedule 2 hours. I can usually get that done in about an hour, hour and a half to answer all of the questions that you might have. Then about 2 weeks from then, we schedule a hearing aid fitting. The fitting takes about an hour to make sure that the hearing aids are doing what they're supposed to, go over how to get them in your ears, get them out of your ears, cleaning, charging them, if there's a battery, all of that.
Well, is doing this is about the same for everybody then. Once you've got the diagnosis made and the right the hearing aid and get it adjusted, and it's pretty simple, I guess.
It's pretty simple once we find out what your lifestyle needs are, what you might want in the hearing aid, what your family might want in the hearing aids. And then the hardest part really is teaching someone how to get it in their ear. That
Really?
I think takes the longest to train somebody, because you're not used to fumbling around with things on your ears, and mirrors sometimes make it worse because you're seeing it backwards. It's very comparable to the first time somebody puts contacts in. So that's the longest part, I think, of all of it. But you can come back and see me as many times as you want to in the first year. There's no charge for that. So if you are having any kind of issues, I make it my life goal to fix those issues to where you're wearing the hearing aids, you're happy with the hearing aids, the people around you are happy that you're wearing the hearing aids.
Well, do you ever have somebody that maybe has a little bit of hearing loss or a little problem there, but they're not ready yet maybe to have a hearing aid?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do then? Just grin and bear it for a little while longer?
We try to talk about the negatives of not doing something with a hearing loss. Untreated hearing loss has some bad things to it, but they're your ears, so it's your decision whether you want to do something. Some people do compensate really well, even having a mild hearing loss. So they don't need anything. Hearing aids really aren't going to help them because they're not ready for a hearing aid. And we recommend coming back and seeing us if there's a change. that you noticed, or just come back and see us every 1 to 2 years to see if anything's changed. And at that point, we would discuss, you really should be thinking about getting
Does
some hearing aids.
insurance cover? I guess it depends on the insurance. Everything depends on the words that's in that policy, obviously. but generally speaking, does insurance cover hearing
It's
aids?
getting better. Medicare does not cover hearing aids, but there are other commercial insurances do cover them. Some of them cover 20%, some of them cover 80% of the cost of them. There are a few out there that will cover all of the hearing aid cost.
Feel sure if you need to file for a person to get reimbursed, that goes with it too.
Correct. Yes. If the insurance works with Vanderbilt, then we do the work on our end. There are some third-party vendor insurances now that we don't work with, but we're happy to send you that way so that you can get that discount on the hearing aids and you don't have to pay out of pocket.
All right, let's if the hearing aid doesn't help, is there hearing loss that a hearing aid won't help?
So sometimes people have severe to profound hearing loss where they hear so little, even with hearing aids, that they might hear with the hearing aids, but it just doesn't help them enough to understand. That's the point that we start talking about cochlear implants.
That's where you come in.
Yes.
Okay, well, talk about that if you will.
So cochlear implants are a surgical implant. It has both an inside and an outside part that helps people hear when hearing aids can no longer help.
Is that something that Rush Limbaugh had? Are you familiar with
Yes,
that? Yeah.
yes. Rush Limbaugh had cochlear implants.
And I mean, he from what I understand, he couldn't hardly hear at all, and that at least helped him to still be able to do his program, and
It's not perfect, but when somebody can no longer benefit from hearing aids, they may be able to hear with a cochlear implant. One of my big things is if you can't hear on the phone, even with hearing aids, even with an amplified phone, you are probably a candidate for a cochlear implant.
Now, as far as what you do to determine that, can you talk about that a little bit? And is that maybe a longer examination or more involved?
It is a longer examination. In fact, it does happen downtown for that part because they see me for 3 hours, testing with hearing aids, talking about all the options. Then they see the ENT. There's also MRI and CT scans involved, all to determine if somebody is a candidate. Then there's the surgery and follow-up, and that's a little bit more involved.
Yeah, I would say it's a lot more. Sounds like this. Can most people be helped, though?
Yes. There are very few that cannot benefit from hearing aids or cochlear implants. It's rare that somebody can't be helped.
And you spend most of your time, all of your time, doing that particular part of this.
Yes, I only work with cochlear implants, and I particularly work with adults, though we have pediatric providers.
But there are enough people that have that severe hearing loss that you stay busy.
Yes, in fact, there's 8 of us downtown who all work in cochlear implants.
Wow. Well, you do, there's some surgery involved, right?
Yes.
How long does that take, and how long are you improved immediately after the surgery? Or?
So the surgery is about a 2 to 3 hour surgery done under general anesthesia. It is an outpatient surgery, but then people usually don't come back to actually have the implant turned on till about 2 to 4 weeks after the surgery.
Okay. Well, it is a lot more involved.
Yes.
And you probably have had special training for that, much more than to do what Dr. Catherine does. Not to diminish, but it's a totally different
training. Yeah. I don't have the training to do what she does.
Okay.
We all get additional training every year. All of the hearing aids change really, it was every 6 months. Now it's every about 2 years. But to know all of the little ins and outs of the software to make sure that you can fix anything about a hearing aid does take yearly training to do all of that, as well as the implants.
Well, one quick question here. I guess it'll have to be quick. Why is it harder to hear with everyone wearing masks? And are some masks better than others for hearing? Now, we're getting out of the mask now, but that's still I wonder about that.
So Most of us use visual information in order to help us understand. Even if you don't have hearing loss, looking at somebody's lips, seeing somebody helps you understand them. So the masks take away those visual cues, making it harder to understand people. There are certainly clear masks, face shields that can help those with hearing loss, but those also block some of the sound.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a quick answer. Very good. Now, one last thing. How can somebody schedule an appointment with either one of you?
So scheduling with me is a little bit easier than scheduling with Sarah. You come to me usually first for me to see if you are a candidate for hearing aids versus talking about a cochlear implant. If you are in the Vanderbilt network, you just ask your physician to put an order in for a hearing evaluation. Just let them know that you don't feel like you're hearing well, and we take care of everything from there. If you are not, we have our local phone number to call that we can walk you through what you need. In order to do the hearing evaluation and have insurance cover it, we do need an order from primary care or any other physician that says that it's medically necessary to have your hearing evaluated. And after that, we kind of take it from there.
Okay. All right. Well, it's nice to have both of you today, Dr. Sarah Unright and Dr. Catherine Williams, Bill Wilkerson Center here in Lebanon, and Tracy. Last word, about 20
Yeah,
seconds.
and you can also find their information online. We have them listed on the Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital website as a location here in Wilson County. And then you can also just go to Vanderbilt Bill Wilkerson Center, and it will list all the locations. And if you're in the Wilson County area, you'd pick Lebanon. So that's also an easy way to make an appointment and find the service that you need.
All right. Well, I think this has been a very interesting program. We appreciate you ladies coming out and wish you the best as you help people with their hearing. And that is part one of Coleman and Company, presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Stay with us for more here on FM 98.9.
And at 7:31, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota, Land Pride, quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's heavy, but it's moving here on 24 out by Harding Place. You got all that traffic flow coming in behind it out of Rutherford County into Davidson. 1300 block at M Hill Pike. They just reported a crash at that location. They've got that one to the side, 24 westbound at 440. It's still got traffic a little bit slow up through there. Hey, Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, home of famous cotton candy wine. Check out all their flavors at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
A few isolated pop-up showers are possible today, otherwise skies will be partly cloudy. Highs this afternoon will top out in the low 80s. For your Wednesday, skies will be a mix of sun and clouds with temperatures in the mid-80s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist T.J. Scott.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us here. Welcome to part two. We're having so much fun here during the break. I look up and the on-air light's on. It couldn't have been on more than a second or two, I don't think. Sean Dozier's here. Sean is Executive Director for Hearthside Senior Living. And how are you this morning?
I'm great. Mike was just talking about how great he was looking today and how sharp he was looking. And but anyway, it's great to be here on Tuesday, Coleman, and always great to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Doing well?
Fine.
Good,
Yeah.
good. We're doing well at Hearthside. We are trekking right along and are enjoying the nice weather, and I think it's going to get a little warm tomorrow maybe.
Yeah, we're looking for a little warmer weather,
Yeah.
and I think late spring is going to be here for good, and it won't be long to people be complaining about how hot it is. Probably.
You're right. Well, we're looking forward to getting back outside, which we have been getting back outside, and the residents have enjoyed the weather. They've walked around the building and are enjoying the garden. You know, Lucas Holman's coming out tomorrow to get us going on the garden out back.
That'll
So
be fun.
he'll really help us. He'll really help us with that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Lucas is a live wire.
He is. Well, I've learned that, and he's going to be helping our residents get that garden going, and I think it's going to be a great experience for them. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, think about it. He knows what he's talking about, but he has a way of presenting it, and can be humorous at times.
He can.
And he's interesting to listen to.
He is. I gave a tour Sunday to a wonderful man who's looking for assisted living. We gave a tour on Sunday, and he really enjoyed the tour. He enjoyed the experience. He said, I've been to several facilities, and I think this is one of the best tours we've ever had. So I think he'll be moving in soon. We've had several others inquire about rooms, so things are picking up. People are starting to get back out. We can give tours now, full tours. We wear our mask when we go through the common areas, but we're able to give tours, and that really has opened up the door for people to really experience what Hearthside has to offer.
Yeah. You still have a few openings?
We still have a few openings left, and so this is a good time if you're interested in assisted living. I was talking to him about, our prices are very reasonable to begin with, but our prices are all encompassing. So, your medication, your med management, your housekeeping, your laundry, your activities, your 3 meals a day, your a la carte menu, your snacks, all are in that one price. And he was very impressed by that, and the families are impressed by that too. So we don't nitpick,
Right.
with different pricing.
Well, most of us, if we manage our finances good at all, we're interested in the bottom line.
The bottom line,
What's
that's
it
right.
gonna really
That's
cost?
right. And we give people the bottom line on what it costs, and they're very pleased at the price. And not only are they pleased with the price, but they're pleased with the great customer service that we have to offer.
You really have a tradition. You really have a tradition in the assisted living.
The tradition has been there a long time, since 1994. It started as a ministry. It continues at the heart of it, a ministry, and we really do provide, I believe, great customer service along with great compassion to our residents and our staff, our guests, anybody that comes through those doors. We really want to offer a service to the community.
Well, Sean, I think the fact that you've been just about full all these years attests to what you just said.
Well, we get a lot of repeat business. A lot of people who've been there in the 90s, they send their loved ones back again, and a lot of repeat business. A lot of families who have been there refer Hearthside to other people. So I really appreciate that.
Well, of course, your retirement community is full. You have the waiting list, a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have.
Nice that you do have people wanting to come when there's a vacancy.
I've got a tour today at 10 o'clock, a lady who is coming in from California. I think I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. She's actually coming in today and touring. She wants to be here. Her daughter lives here, so she loves the idea of the independent living community where there's really no maintenance required. So she's coming in at 10, and she'll be added to that waiting list, and we certainly like to see folks like that come by.
Well, I'd say something here. I hope I won't offend anybody, but how could anybody not rather be in Tennessee than California right now?
Well, I told you a couple of weeks ago, she called me and she set up the tour. She said, "Now listen, now I'm moving. I'm getting out of this place. I'm moving back to Tennessee. I want to get out of California, but I'm not bringing my California values to Middle Tennessee." I said, "Oh, okay." Okay, and I didn't even ask her. So she, people just volunteer stuff all the time. You don't even inquire about it.
All you need to do is read between the lines.
Yeah, I did. So anyway, she's going to be here today, and we're going to give her a great tour along with her daughter. And so anyway, if you're interested in assisted living, if you're interested in independent living, it's a beautiful senior living campus right in the heart of Lebanon. As we like to mention, our location, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, right there in the heart of the city, close to the Jimmy Floyd Center, close to the Senior Citizen Center, close to the Don Fox Park. What am I leaving out? Close to the doctor's offices, everything you need right there in the middle of town. So it's a great location, and seniors really like to be there.
I don't know where you could have a better location.
I don't either.
There's some nearly as good, but I don't think there's any better.
No, it's a great location. It's a beautiful property. We have just a great property there. I can't be more pleased with it.
Are you ready for a Hearthside help?
Yes, Jeff Peterson. Jeff Peterson is the new chairman of the board of the chamber. He's kind of stepped in to fill that role this year. And Jeff bought the old Toshiba plant and put his business in there, but then he subleases the Toshiba plant, other parts of it, to other businesses, and does quite well. And I met him this weekend, him and his wife, and I wanted to give him a Hearthside hello. He's involved in several nonprofits, and I appreciate meeting him, and appreciate him introducing himself, and I just wanted to give him a shout out. So if you see Jeff this week or today, tell him I said hello, and tell him he got the Hearthside hello.
All right, great.
Well, that kind of always ends it for us. We're looking for a little bit warmer weather. Your garden is going to get better with the presence of lupus, no doubt.
It is. It's going to be a great week, and I hope you all have a great week. And I imagine you'll talk a little baseball as you start out.
We might. You want to stick around?
No, I better go. I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me, and have a great week.
All right, you too. Sean Dozier, Executive Director for Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North here in Lebanon. We're 21 and a half for the hour. Mike Jennings joins us this morning, our county attorney. He is also the mayor of Watertown. And good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
We can talk a little baseball, I
yes,
guess.
Yes, sir, always.
You got a former University of Tennessee player with the Reds, Mr. Sinsel, and all of a sudden I can't remember his first name. He's played center field. He played third base in college, and they put him back on third base last night, I think.
I can't think of his first name.
Yeah. But like I was telling Sean before we went on the air here, when the Reds get to 500, they always lose.
Oh, okay. So they've always got that goal of trying to get to 500.
They were at 500 after coming home and played the Giants last night, and Sonny Gray was pitching, and maybe, just maybe, we'll get over the hump this time. Nope. And of course, Sonny played at Vanderbilt, as you know. Yep. And Yaz Yastrzemski, Carl Yastrzemski's grandson, I forget his name, he hit a home run off of Gray last night.
How about that?
Yeah.
And he played at Vanderbilt also, did he?
Yes. 6-3, I think, was the score. But anyway, I switched between that and you on the county commission meeting and the Predators occasionally. They got beat too, by the way.
Yeah, I'd have stayed with baseball.
Well, it's nice to turn the TV on 198 and see you over there, mostly only talking when you're asked a question, and Hutto is in command, and but seemed like Tom Brashear had a lot to say last night.
He did. We had several zoning matters last night, but it's always a good meeting is when I don't have to say anything. So as I always tell them, I get the same.
Well, there were, and Wendell Marlowe had a place there where he stood up for a long time reading resolution after resolution. That
he did.
I think every one of them passed 25-0.
We had one negative vote, and I said last night, I said, who cast that? Because Coleman will ask me, and Kenny Rich wanted to make sure that you knew it was him. It was on a fee that we have added in the zoning thing, and Kenny voted against it in committee, and he said I had to be consistent. I voted against it on the floor. Okay. Only negative vote on resolutions we had all night.
Yeah, and I know some people were honored. I remember Sonia
Robinson.
Sonia Robinson, I believe, honored the people at the road commission.
She did, and you know, they are kind of the silent folks that you don't think about in government unless you hit a pothole or you need a limb trimmed out of the road or something. But those guys are on call all the time, and they do a lot of different things. In the wintertime, of course, with ice and snow, they are really 24-hour employees. But in the summertime too, you know, these they've got mowing, they've got bush trimming they've got to do, and all of that stuff. So they're busy. 60 of them. I didn't realize we had quite so many. 60 people.
Those guys have done a good job, I think, over the years.
Yes.
And they've had good leadership down there, I think.
Yes.
If not all, most of the time for sure. And I remember when Steve Armstead went down there, and the goal was to get every county road paved, blacktop, and that was achieved.
It was.
Now we keep it maintained.
We do, and we got 856 miles of it. As Steve Murphy, Steve Armstead, Steve Lynch, somebody said over the years, that's one way. You know, coming back the other way is another 856.
well, the three Steves.
That's right. Yeah.
And all three of them have done a good job.
They have done a good job. They you know, probably not a good comparison, but I'll make it. They're kind of like a baseball umpire. When if they do a good job, nobody notices them. You know.
Yeah.
It's when they have a problem or an issue, and that's not often.
And by the way, of course, Steve Murphy is still he's the man in charge, but Steve Lynch retired, didn't he?
Steve Lynch retired, and Sharon Lackey moved over from the finance office to be assistant road superintendent. So, yeah.
Oh, I had not heard that. Okay.
Yeah, Steve retired. He'd been there as long as I can remember. Steve was there when I started, so he did a good job too. A good number two guy.
As far as the meeting last night, how routine and mundane was that, or was it was there much? I know you had some you had some properties to
rezone.
Yeah, did all of that? Was there much controversy in that? I missed some of that.
A little bit of controversy, not as much as I thought there might be going in. I don't know that we had a mundane meeting, but we covered just about everything. You mentioned the resolutions, you mentioned the zoning. We had reports from the director of schools and the sheriff's office and WEMA. And we had some honorary resolutions. We've already mentioned one with the road department. And just a lot of different things. And when I looked up, we adjourned at 9:06. So, you know, once we start, we rarely stop. We don't take a recess. So that was a straight through. Over 2-hour meeting.
I think one of the times when I was watching Mayor Hutto talked about the budget process a little bit.
Yes.
And kind of laid it out there. And it did mention something about some federal funds that are expected here, but how we got to be very careful how we utilize those.
Yeah, the budget process is kicking into high gear starting tonight, really, with the budget meeting to look at all the budgets and needs assessments. Yeah, we're getting some federal money, and we went to a meeting last Tuesday. Several of us did. The comptroller was in town and made a good presentation, answered some questions. That money can't be used for just anything, and of course, it can't be used for a recurring expense. It's got to be something one time. It's got to be something COVID related or whatever. That not COVID, but that COVID affected what you did in government. I went because Watertown's getting some money too, and my interest was I need to pave some streets badly, and I can't do it with this money. It's not allowed with this money, so we'll find. You know, there are other things we can do with it, but
well, if there is, I don't know if this would work or not, but if there's something that that can be COVID related. And then money that you would have spent for that without the federal government, take that money, then pave your streets or whatever.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
That's a poor way of explaining it, but you sort of you use it you switch it around a little bit.
I refer.
I don't know whether they're going to catch on to that or not.
I refer to that, Coleman, as having an angle. We got to have an angle on this thing. Where it showed up the most for me on city expenditures was they really kind of stressed water and sewer, those types. So it's health related things. You know, you can make improvements to your sewer plant. You can make improvements to your water lines.
Okay, well, in your case, you use that money for what you're about to do there. Then you've got some money to pave some streets, maybe.
Well, hopefully. But there's a lot of steps that got to fall into place here, and the mayor went through all the different steps and restrictions that are on it. So I'm going to have to take a look at that and try to explain that to my council members tonight so that they kind of know what we're up against. It's not an immediate thing, but it's money that's out there. Plus, we were told that the legislature, and this is probably a question for Senator Pody or Representative Boyd when you have them out, had put, I thought they said, I forget the amount they put in there, but I thought they said $100 million for cities and counties and for COVID-related things.
I can't remember.
So I don't know if that's grant-wise, if that's based on population, and you're going to get a slice based on your population. I don't know.
Okay, with that, we will take our break here. Mike Jennings, our county attorney, is with us. We've got a lot more to talk about, so keep it here, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:48. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. It's $49.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic. Here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking at a stalled pickup truck sitting in a tricky spot, 40 eastbound here at Fessler's. It just gave up and quit. It's blocking a lane of traffic here on 40 eastbound. Again, here at Fessler's, the heaviest flow is westbound. On the other side of the interstate there, 40 west coming past Fessler's, Spence Lane. Traffic's on the increase even more now. On 65 coming up through Williamson County, traffic's also picked up on 65 through Goodlettsville. Finishing up an earlier crash there, 800 block of Murfreesboro Pine. True Friends Moving Company is hiring. Call 240-2811. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Mike Jennings is here, one of my favorite programs every month.
You're living a dull life, Coleman.
Well, we haven't talked enough sports. We've got to mention here Vanderbilt and UT's baseball teams because they are neck and neck for the Southeastern
Both very
Championship.
good, and this weekend we'll probably decide who finishes first in the SEC East.
They don't play each other anymore, do they?
No, they've already played
unless
this
they
year.
meet after the season ends. But they're neck and neck. Are they tied? I haven't looked.
Vanderbilt is actually a half game behind by quirk of the weather. Tennessee's 18-9, Vanderbilt's 17-9, and they had a game postponed because of the weather. My understanding is they don't make that up, and that doesn't seem fair to me. That happened to Tennessee 8 or 9 years ago. I don't remember exactly, but we were trying just to get in the tournament. You know, they take the top 12, and because we didn't play one game, it kept us out.
That is unfair, regardless.
And it's unfair to Vanderbilt in this situation, I think. Now, that may work itself out, this weekend. But
they both played well this year.
They have, and I saw Tennessee play Arkansas Saturday and Sunday. I was up there. That's the best baseball I've seen in a long time. I know you said we weren't going to talk about it, but Tennessee was 2 hits away, one on Friday night, one on Sunday night, from sweeping the series.
Yeah.
Arkansas was 3 outs away on Saturday from sweeping the series. It was that good, that tight. It was fun, except the wrong team won on Sunday.
Well, we'll see what happens here. As Harville used to say, that's why we play.
That's why we play.
Back to the meeting. Anything else to discuss from that? Things seem to be fairly harmonious on the county commission.
They really are. I was thinking last night until Kenny cast that vote, and if I'd have thought about it, I would have known who did it because I remember what he said in committee. But I believe that's either 2 or 3 straight meetings where every vote was 25-0 or 22-0. Everybody was there last night in person, which is the first time in a long time. So we did the kind of the routine stuff, got some money in through WEMA from the Homeland Security that they put into their budget. We put some extra money into for some equipment in the PEG channel, that what you were watching last night.
Yeah.
County clerk got a little money out of their reserve account. School system had to move some money around where they had to pay more overtime and more hours during the COVID crisis in their kids clubs and that type of thing. And those type of things. We honored a young man who was the first state champion from Green Hills High School. His name was Dominic Love, and he is a wrestling champion, and they talked about how he had persevered, and he was actually preparing for the season. The school wasn't built, and he didn't have a place to work out. He had to borrow some mats and work out in different places. And we honored a gentleman who's now deceased, Don Breedwell, last night, and his family, some of his family was there, and I wrote that resolution based on some other information that was given me, so I don't lay claim to the wording. But he sounded like a very interesting individual, as I told the commissioner that asked me to do it. And I said that might have been the most fun resolution I've ever written. He was just reading about him was fun.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of everything last night, but for me, important thing, we didn't have any fights.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about the budget process. Mayor Hutto mentioned that yesterday, but it's almost like we kind of got this thing streamlined, and we got these meetings and people come and present, and then you're going to see if indeed we've got enough money, or if we're going to have a tax increase. We've got reappraisal that's going to go.
Got mine yesterday. You get yours?
Yeah, I did. I couldn't believe how much more my house and lot is worth.
Hope they're right.
Or appraised. Well,
yeah.
But we cannot. What we do, the tax rate will have to be adjusted.
It will.
You can't make any money off reappraisal.
That's correct.
And
in spite of all the people on Facebook this morning saying it's all a ploy for county to raise taxes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's some of that Facebook.
You know
news.
how it is. If it's on there, it's got to be.
Oh, God.
Well, but now what that doesn't mean you might pay less or more if your property is higher than the average.
That's right.
Then you're probably going to pay a little bit more. If it's lower than the average, you might pay a little bit less.
That's correct.
That happened to me. I paid a little bit less. Mine didn't go up as much as the average did. I guess at the last reappraisal or the one before that, maybe.
I was thinking the one before that, Coleman, is when we were coming out of the economic
right. Yeah, that's
problems
when it was.
we had in 2008, 2009.
That's when it was. Yeah. But it's just, I think it's a fair thing. What it all has to do with whether the appraisal is fair or not. But the method that we do there is right. I mean, I think, why should you? That's what the county commission's job is, to determine how much tax revenue we're supposed to have coming in, not the appraisal of the property itself.
I don't see anything out there. I'm sure people are sitting out there wondering about this. I don't see any push anywhere to raise taxes.
Yeah.
I think what you'll see is they'll have to set the tax rate to bring in the same amount of money, and then each year you get some natural growth money due to increased construction, more commercial sales, more hotel, motel, more adequate facilities taxes, those type of things have some natural in good times, and times are good now. We'll have additional money. I don't see any possibility of a property tax. Nobody's promoting that, and really I don't see the need for that. I don't think they see the need. I don't get a vote.
Well, you've been very close with the school system here lately, and especially I think maybe we ought to applaud you in your efforts to get a settlement with this insurance company and fairly quickly, really.
Well, I appreciate that. The school system, they get beat up a lot, and they get the biggest share of the money in the budget. But when you go back and you think about from March 3 of 2020 to today, what they've been through, they had to deal with tornadoes. Wake up the next morning, you got 2 schools on the ground virtually. Then COVID hits. Mm-hmm. And you want the kids in school, but you don't know whether it's safe to put them there. You try to do it remotely. They have just faced challenge after challenge. There are a lot of people that are dissatisfied, but I have to say that some of those people, they couldn't have handled what the people elected to do this, Dr. Wright and the board members have had to do. And I think they've done a pretty good job, Coleman. I said all that to say, if we can get through the next 10 days and then we get into next year under normal circumstances, we're back to school, nobody, we're healthy, don't have to worry about COVID. It'll be interesting to see what they truly need for their budget, because they have gotten extra money to deal with COVID, but they've had extra expenses, just like I talked about with the kids club. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get back to a normal budget year. And I may have rambled on you, but you started off talking about how we kind of had this streamlined. I think they've done a good job of setting out benchmark dates. We're going to do this by this date. We're going to do this. And we're on track for the second or third year in a row to have a budget by June 30. That used to never happen. And
Well, it
frankly,
was just pretty much set in stone. You voted in that in the August meeting.
it was. And frankly, May and June are busy months, you know, graduations, ball games, and I hate the budget process, but I like it a lot better after July 1st because we won't be dealing with it. So it's just one of those things you got to work through, and they're doing a good job of that.
Well, as far as the settlement with the insurance company, and is all that done now?
The money is in, yes. Of course, the hard part now is bringing bricks and mortar up out of the ground and getting it ready to go. Dr. Wright and the board have leased 20 portables, 40 classrooms to sit on the Stoner Creek property to deal with for hopefully 1 year or maybe just a little more. The issue right now is we got the order in, but because of building supplies and materials, they can't guarantee they'll have them all here by the end of July. So that may be a challenge for the new director when he takes
What about? Okay, so that will be there. What students that would go to the other school?
You know, I've forgotten the specifics on that, so I better not jump out there and say that.
Well, anyway, they've got it worked out, and you're going to be working things out in Watertown at your meeting tonight.
Yeah, I hope so. We got a couple of issues. Budgeting is difficult, Coleman, for us as well, because we're getting extra money in the COVID thing, and you think, wow, this is great. We've never had extra money. But I got to do a budget based on when that money goes away, back to normal. So I'm having a hard, I won't say I'm having a hard time. It'll be a challenge to put that together. And I do that. I don't have anybody else to do it for me. So that takes a lot of time.
Well, I'm going to give the last 20 seconds here to Edie Pope and her class at Watertown High, the theater.
Yes.
They were on yesterday. They're going to be at the drive-in on Thursday night. You can get there early. It's $5 a person, and that money goes to Watertown High. Anything concessions have, the Floyds get that for doing this. But that's going to be a great event. Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream.
That is, and I hope to get out there before it's over with. My grandson has a ball game at the 7. So as soon as that's over, we're going to get in the car and hustle out there and get to see some of it, I hope.
Mike, thanks for all you do and for being here, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
And that's it for Tuesday. Please join us tomorrow. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.